can anyone just put up a chat box text? That would help. Don't try to speak anything because I'm not listening to you. I don't have my earphones. I'm talking to you through a wireless mic. So yes, where did we stop the last session? Can anyone put up in the chat box what did we discuss? Do I need to speak in a natural accent? Verbs, not natural accent, but much of the accent that you understand. So it's only Hermish who remembers it, no one else. Yes, what did we discuss in verbs, Harmish? If you can elaborate, or if anyone can elaborate from our last session, what did we do and what did we discuss? If anyone can elaborate, yes. Okay, let me just speak in the accent that makes you understand, and tell me if that is okay. So, what did we last? And please elaborate. That would help. Visible and invisible verbs. Okay, all right. And and the accent helps. Yes, not this one, but the previous one. All right. I'm sharing the screen now, so just give me a minute. I think we were not able to discuss the whole thing about verbs because of some technical glitch. Yes, if I'm not wrong. Am I right? I mean, did I recall right? Was there some technical glitch during our session? Yeah, so there was a technical glitch during our session, and so we had to stop, discussing a few things around here and there. Okay. Okay, Ritik, Utsav, and everyone. So we will have a recap, a fresh recap of things which we have discussed already. And I'm taking you back to the session of that day. So, in this overview today, we are going to talk about verbs one more time, and please spare me for today if I sound a little low. It's just I feel little weak today. I don't know. I have taken my meds, but a little weaker than usual. Uh, no fever, thank God, and no coughing, thank God again. But yes, verbs. So if uh, if we do a quick revisit, of what we discussed in the last session, and that's what we're going to do in today's session, and then I'm going to take you towards, you know, the system of tenses, which you think is the toughest of all, which actually is not the toughest of all. It's just our it's just the way we know about the tenses. So a lot of discovery, a lot of things which you will come across are going to be new, and today's session might also end up with one or the other, not an assignment, but one or the other practice sheet, which I shall share with you on WhatsApp later today. But first things first, let's take a very quick look over what we discussed last session. So we discussed that verbs are actually action words, and these are the words, they actually describe nothing much or nothing more than actions. uh, we later discussed that there are two types of verbs. There are verbs we call it dynamic, and then there are verbs we call it stative. We also understood, or let's say we identified very easily, that dynamic verbs are actually visible verbs, and then there are stative verbs, and they are actually not visible verbs or actions which we cannot see. We very quickly identified such actions, and that's easy to identify. Like, we can see people eating or running or jumping or talking, but we cannot see people when they understand each other, or when they hate each other, or they realize something, or believe in something, or even love. We we actually cannot see these actions. And then later we discovered that there's one common error that we have been uh, you know we have been we have not have had realized so far. And that common error which we have been reproducing time to time in our communication, and that is the dynamic actions can carry ing, but the state actions cannot carry ing. And that is something that we discovered in the last session. We understood very well that the state verbs may not carry ing, and if they do, their meanings are then different. So we are going to take a very quick look over a few examples, and then we are going to listen to one of the we're going to watch one of the videos, but that will come later. So let's take a very quick look over a few examples. We did discuss these examples last session, but maybe one more time. There's always this point of argument with respect to technicalities when I say that we cannot add ing. And very quickly, can someone tell me, when do we add ing? We have discussed this, but very quickly, one more time. Yes, fast in the chat box. So when do we add ing, or what are we trying to say when we add ing to the verb? Very quickly. What does it mean when I say I am sitting, or I am eating? So why am I adding ing? Or what does ing implicate? So it implicates continuation. It implicates continuation of an action. That's right, Ritik. Okay, Dara says present continuous. That also is right. When any action is going on, Kuldeep, right. So no matter whether it's a continuous or present tense, it's always an action that's going on. It's an ongoing action. And then people like me, aliens, some people think of me as an alien because I always try to show them different types of things about English which they've never heard. um, but I'm not an alien, I'm from Earth. And then people come to me, they think that, sir, how can you say this? Because MACD says I'm loving it. So are you trying to say that MACD is using an incorrect grammar, or MACD is not right? Are you trying to say this? Well, to not to prove myself, but to just put down the facts in front of you. uh, I have also given this example. I think I remember actually. And let's say, for example, I say this to my wife. I say I am loving you. Now you already have given the answer to what is the meaning of ing. And ing means continuous, and it's only continuous at that point of time, if it is present, right? So it's going on for that moment. Now now tell me one more question. Now, one more question, and let's answer one more question. Is continuous I mean Are continuous actions permanent or temporary? Tell me very quickly, fast. What do you think? Are continuous actions permanent or temporary? Temporary. So Utsav says temporary. Yeah, it's temporary. So they are for a short time, right? Okay. Or maybe for a longer duration, but it's not everlasting. So if I'm trying to say this to my wife, what I'm trying to say to her is, I am loving her at that moment of time. I don't know the next hour, or maybe I don't even know the next second. I may fall in love with another girl. I mean, that's an excuse just to, escape a bitter truth. But that's not how it works. So you cannot say, I am loving you, right? You should say, I love you. Okay. Now, now let's come to MACD. So then what? are MACD, is MACD wrong? I mean, no, it's technically right, but grammatically they're wrong. So what is technically right? Technically they are right because they say you are loving it only when you are there. So that's fine. But grammatically, it doesn't make any sense. And so we cannot add ing to the state verbs. If we do, the meaning changes. And then we started looking at different verbs. So we have had a discussion on sense verbs like hear or see or smell or sound or taste. So I cannot say I am hearing, right? Or I cannot add ing with its actual meaning. So I need to say, oh yes, I hear you. So if I'm speaking to you right now, and if I ask someone that, yes, can you hear me? So your reply should not be like, oh yes sir, we are hearing you. No, then you're wrong, right? It should be we hear you. You cannot say I am seeing you with actual meaning of see, right? So see is visibility. And that actually forces me to discuss that then when are the cases when we can add ing to see. And so I actually ended up showing you this difference between see and look. Now both the words have different meanings and both of them have two separate meanings. So look how complex it is. But in order to make it look very simple, there's a picture right there in front of you. Now, listen to me very carefully when I use the word see, and then tell me the difference between see and look. All right? So, listen to me very carefully, and also look at the slide, your screens. So, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. I see an old couple walking in the park. I see two kids running and playing in the park. I see a man carrying his daughter and walking in the park. I see a huge premises, or maybe in common words, I see a huge building behind the park. And now, listen to me very carefully when I say this. I am looking at those two people reading in the park. Now, tell me, what is the meaning of see here? What do you think is the meaning? Yeah, I'm waiting for your replies in the chat box. What do you think is the meaning of the word see? Yeah, someone, maybe Sneha or anyone? You can say it in a simple language, or you can represent yourselves in a very easy language. Okay, see, uh, okay, on purpose. Good, good, Siddhi. This is a nice explanation, Siddhi. I liked it. Siddhi, tell me if I'm not pronouncing your name perfectly. All right. So Divyaraj says observe. Oh, you are Leela. All right. You're signed in with a different name, maybe. Oh, okay. I didn't read the last one. Leela. All right, Leela. So see is to watch anything and to observe anything. Kuldeep, see, you are very right. But you know what? When you use the word watch, it has a different meaning. And look also has two meanings. So let me just identify the first meaning of see. So see means, whatever is visible to your eyes. For example, if Leela is right now in his room, so he sees everything, or so many things are visible to his eyes, right? I mean, how can I know, right? I don't. So for example, if I'm sitting here right now in my office, so I see uh, uh, an air conditioning unit above my head. I see a window. Outside the window, I see birds flying, and I see few people talking in the corridor. So I see many things, right? But as Leela said, rightly, and as Kuldeep Singh said rightly, to look is when you focus on specific things or people. It's like in this picture, you're focusing on those two people that they are reading in the park. So look is a visible action, but see is not a visible action because your eyes can see everything, right? No one can depicts what your eyes, see. Okay, but yes, I can depict what you are looking at. But because when you're looking at, you actually move your head in that direction and you are focused. So I know that you are looking. I can see that it's visible. So the word see cannot carry ing, but look can carry ing. Right. So you cannot say, hey, I'm seeing those two old couples walking in the park, or I'm seeing the huge building. No, everything is visible. But when I say I'm looking, hey, look, out of all these people sitting, I'm looking at those two. So I'm focused. And that's right. So here are different meanings of see. Let's understand see. So see, uh, for example, to actually see is the first meaning of, see. And to actually see, you cannot add ing because that's not a visible action. So you say, I see a doctor, or, I see my wristwatch, or I see you on the other side of the road. That's okay. The other meaning of the word see is also to understand, right? And that's, that's something Leila added in the last session, that to see is also to mean to say that you understand something. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं अभी कुछ आपको बोल रहा हूँ एंड उसके बाद आप समझ रहे हो then you tell me that if I'm saying something to you and if you understand that, so you tell me, oh, I see, so that's how actually it works. So even there you cannot say I'm seeing, right? But the word see can carry ing, and the meaning is totally different. The meaning is to meet someone, or to date someone. For example, I am seeing my friend tonight, or I am seeing my students tomorrow. All right. So that meaning is different. See, now the meaning changes. See, so when you add ing to the state verbs, the meaning changes. And not every time it's possible to add ing to state verbs. Look also has two meanings, just like Kuldeep Singh said, look also means to observe. So here are the two pictures, and they show two meanings of the word look. So look means, to really look at something, like that boy is looking at in the right side, the picture in the right side of the screen, and I can say he's looking at the butterfly. So that look can carry ing. But then other meaning, as Kuldeep Singh said, Devashi's look is not used for searching something. It is the phrase. Sirf look nahi hai. It is look up for. All right, Devashi's. That's a phrasal verb. That's different than just look. So you never say, hey, look. No, you say, hey, can you look up for my pen? Look up. Do you understand, Devashi's? Did I clear your input here? Yes, Devashish. So, but you're right, because the word look is one part of that phrase. तो मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है देवाशीष, you're not wrong, you're right. लेकिन सिर्फ look का meaning is not to search for something. Look up for, right? So look up, and that is where it's called phrasal verbs. It's one of the phrasal verbs. But look has another meaning. Look का एक और meaning है, जैसे कुलदीप सिंह ने बताया, observe something. And that is where I say, oh, this butterfly looks beautiful. For example, let's say, a random example. Let's say Ritik is, sad, and he's very upset. He's sitting right there in the class. We don't know, something might have happened. And then I come in the class and then I observe him. And then I say, oh, Ritik, you look sad today. You look, see, that's my observation. That's not a visible action. And then you have an argument. Sir, that's a visible action. Everyone can see that he's sad. Everyone can see that he's sad. But the word look is an action that's not visible. It's my observation. And observation is not visible when it's happening in the mind. Right. So I cannot say he's looking sad. I should say, oh, he looks sad. Oh, you look sad. Oh, you look upset today. Right. So the another word is taste, right? So taste also has two meanings, right? So for example, if as you can see the picture on the right of the screen, the lady, she's actually doing it, and we all can see that it's a visible action. So she's tasting the soup. After tasting the soup, she tells us her, observation about the soup. And so she says that the soup tastes sour. There she cannot add ing because that's not a visible action. So you cannot say this is tasting sour or this is tasting sweet. No, this tastes sweet. Similar is the meaning smell. When you actually smell something, people can see it. It's a visible action, like this little girl in the picture on the right of the screen. So I can say she's smelling the flower or she's smelling the roses. But when I say how does it smell, I cannot say it is smelling beautiful. I should say it smells beautiful, or they smell beautiful. So this is how these sense verbs they work, right? Then there are mental thoughts and activities. They cannot carry ing, like no, I'm not knowing. You cannot say that. For example, I believe you. You cannot say I'm believing you, or I'm not understanding you. It's not correct. It's not the right way to say it. Right. Uh, yeah. On the other hand, think has two meanings. Think. Think. So yeah, Monish, just a glance. So a glance is not a visible action, because when you say a glance, so what are you looking at in glance? So when you say glance, it's different. But yes, uh, think is a different word, right? So think has two meanings. It's very similar to look. Think also means to observe or to give your opinion, right? More like an opinion, not an observation, but an opinion. So for example, uh, I think he's right. I think that's good, right? Or I think it works, right? So I cannot say I'm thinking it's working or I'm thinking it's good. No. But, you know, when I actually think about something, right? Or when I'm actually sitting and, and I'm like, when I say, oh, I'm thinking about this matter, or I'm thinking over this matter. So that's a visible action. People can actually see me doing that, right? So that there you can say I'm thinking, but when you give your opinion, you cannot say thinking. So these are some words there. Um, okay, let me move forward. And then there is the word have. So have is a good word to discuss, other than belongs to and own and possess. So tell me the meaning of the word have. What do you think the word have means? Can anyone tell me that? And that should be a very quick review, fast. So what do you mean by have or has? What do you mean, Leila, when I say I have a pen, or maybe I have uh, you know a duster? What do you mean? What I mean? Okay. Uh, Cable says possess. All right. Sneha says own it. Okay. Anyone else? Any better word? Maybe. Okay, it's with you. Yes, Ayushi, you're right. It's with me. To own or hold something. Okay, Devashi is fine. So, in order to understand, now you can see two different words, two very new words, uh, two very new words on the screen. You can see lexical and delexical. You'll understand what is the meaning of these two words in a very short time from now. Let's look at the example of have. So, let's say this is, my work desk. My work desk doesn't look like this though, and it's only because I don't keep plants on my desk. Some people do like it. So now let's listen to what I'm trying to say here. Now listen to me very carefully when I produce these sentences. I have a mouse. I have a laptop. I have a plant. I have a bottle. I have a lamp, or rather I should say study lamp. I have a monitor. So all of you are right. Have here means to possess, or to own something. You're showing the ownership, which is not a visible action. And then people say that, sir, it is visible action. We can see your laptop. We can see your mouse. We can see your monitor. Well, you can see those things, but you cannot see the action have happening actually, right? So you cannot say, oh, I am having a laptop, or you cannot say I'm having a mouse, or you cannot say I'm having a monitor. You cannot say that, right? So that's incorrect. You should say I have a laptop. But have has other meanings. This meaning of have is what I call a lexical meaning. That's called a dictionary meaning. Have also has many other meanings. Let's look at those other meanings of have. And they are dialectical. And I'm going to show you pictures one by one. Let's look at it very carefully. I'm having rest. Oh, that's a visible action. I'm having rest. I'm not talking about ownership now. I'm having my food, or I'm having noodles. I'm not talking about ownership. I'm talking about an action which is visible. Oh, they are having fun. They are having fun in the class. That's a visible action. That's experience I'm talking about. Yeah. Maybe one more. Dog is having bath. That's also is a visible action. So here I can say I'm having fun and I'm having rest, because this is a different meaning than possession and ownership. And I think I've made myself very clear about how have is used without ing and with ing. And that's what it means. So that's how this word is used, right? Okay. There is an example right there in front of you. She has a cat. So I'm talking about ownership right now. I'm talking about, uh, you know, uh, a possession right now. But here, it's not possession. Here, it's an action. So here, I'm saying, the cat is having a bath. Okay, everyone, Deep, Divyesh, Jayesh, okay, and everyone else, Ritik, stop. Sorry, not Ritik, but stop. Don't send your enrollment numbers here. I will share with you the Google form sheet where you will, give me your enrollment numbers. Not here, please. Okay. So very quickly, moving ahead. These are the words for measurements. They do not carry ing, and if they do, their meanings change. For example, you cannot say Eiffel Tower is weighing. Weighing is, when we weight something, right? You cannot say this dress is costing 100 shekels. No, that's not possible. So maybe for an example here, look at this two examples. This rabbit weighs a lot. So the owner is talking about the weight of the rabbit. And here he cannot say this rabbit is weighing a lot. But yes, when he actually weighs it, right? When he's doing that thing, so he says the owner is weighing her rabbit. But otherwise, cannot say weigh. All right. Now let me take you to the video, and do let me know if the audio is visible to you. Not now, not now. I will tell you when. But tell me before I proceed, did you understand when to add ing and when not to? Mehul, Sawan, Achyut, Deep, હમણાં મેં age કીધું, don't send your enrollment numbers here in the chat box. હું તમારી સાથે Google form sheet share કરીશ, and you will write your enrollment numbers and your name there, not here. Okay, Ritik, all right, you understood. That's fine. Okay, so just give me a minute or two, and we shall listen to an audio of not longer than 10 minutes, which will explain you all this which I've explained already, um, with a deeper meaning. So let's make it very quick, only that the system is a bit slow than usual. Okay, thank you for staying with me. Um, it's being delayed. I can understand that, but maybe a few more minutes. Okay, first of all, let me know if the audio is visible to you when I play it. Not now. I'll tell you when to tell me that. Okay.
Verbs and dynamic verbs. First, let's talk about
Yeah, so was that audible to everyone? Okay, audible. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, all right. You don't need to tell me that now. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to now restart the screen sharing and then we'll look at it one more time. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, just give me a minute before the screen sharing starts. Okay, I think my screen is very much visible now. Yes, is it? Visible, perfect. And there you go. Okay. Okay, so watch him very carefully is saying about verbs and all, and let's see how you understand it. Okay, very easy language. No need to worry about the language. Okay, so I'll play in.
English has state verbs and
Oh, sorry, sorry, mismatch. Okay, one more time.
English has state verbs and dynamic verbs. First, let's talk about dynamic verbs. Most verbs in English.
I am so sorry. It's not syncing properly because I had to play an audio in from other device and then this from another device. So I'm trying. So let's see how it works this time.
English has state verbs
Come
and
on.
dynamic verbs. First, let's talk about dynamic.
Guys, give me some time.
English has state verbs and dynamic verbs.
Seriously, this is okay. I can understand you guys are a bit irritated, but yeah, maybe one last try and then we will give it one last try. Otherwise, I'll share with you the link. That's all right.
English has state verbs and dynamic verbs. First, let's talk about dynamic verbs. Most verbs in English are dynamic. And what does this mean? Dynamic verbs are physical. Physical means it's moving. If you if you can see the verb, if you can see the action, it's a dynamic verb. Some examples are run, walk, eat, fly, go, say, and touch. These are dynamic verbs. You can see the action. Now, dynamic verbs are very easy because we can use dynamic verbs in any tense in English. So the present simple, no problem. I eat dinner every day. And the present continuous, I am eating dinner. So maybe now, I am eating dinner. So you can use the present simple or the present continuous, no problem. And in Unit 3, you're going to study the past tenses. Well, with dynamic verbs, you can use the past simple or the past continuous, no problem. But state verbs, we have to be careful about state verbs. State verbs are not physical. You can't see a state verb. And we don't use state verbs in English with the continuous tenses. So in Unit 2, we have studied the present continuous. Well, we almost never use the present continuous with state verbs. Instead, we use the present simple. Now, here are some examples of state verbs. Believe, understand, include, weigh, like the body, my body, contain, lack, right? These verbs are in the list, right? In the grammar notes. So please study these verbs, but believe and understand, you can't see these verbs, right? So why is this important? Because we don't say, I am believing you. No, we just say the present simple, I believe you, right? Or we don't say, I am understanding. No, we say, I understand you, right? So dynamic verbs you can use in any tense, but state verbs, we usually only use the simple tenses. If you'd like to practice.
All right. So I think that was very clear from this little exercise. I mean, this little listening right there. Yes, tell me if it was very, very clear to all of you, and it was also audible at the same time. Yes, everyone? Is it clear?
Sir, sir,
Okay. Okay. All right.
hello?
Perfect. Now let's try to focus on the words which I have already discussed,
Hello, sir.
or I should say, which we have in fact already discussed. And I'm going to take you to that part 2 video one more time. Just give me a moment. Okay, I'll be with you in a moment. I'm going to share the screen now.
Hello?
Okay, we may run it and the first to go with the proper sync, and we may have to do some retakes. So let's see how it goes this time. Okay, I hope the screen is very much visible. And there goes the video. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, fingers crossed. Let's hope that audio is synced properly.
Now, sometimes a verb in English will have a state verb meaning and a dynamic verb meaning. So if your meaning is dynamic, you can use the continuous tenses. But if your meaning is a state meaning, shouldn't use the continuous tenses. So let's look at some examples. The first example is the verb have, right? Well, usually have
Hello?
is a state, okay? I have a brother,
Yes, sir.
right? I have a dollar. I have a dollar now. Can you see this action? No, right? But yeah, I'm having fun. I'm having fun. This means I'm experiencing fun, right? You can probably see this. All right, all right. So this is a dynamic meaning. So if it's a dynamic meaning, you use the continuous, right? I am having fun now. But if it's a state meaning, you don't use continuous. I have a dollar now. Okay, next verb is look. Now, look has a state meaning and a dynamic meaning. The state meaning is when you talk about what you think, what you feel about how you see something. So Nancy looks tired. She looks tired. Now, you can see tired, but you can't see the verb look. So it's state, okay? But look has another meaning. If you move your head and focus with your eyes, right? This is dynamic, right? So example, Farah is looking at the pictures. See. Now see, the state meaning is to understand something with your eyes. Example, I see her. Yeah, I see her. This is a state, okay? But a dynamic meaning, there's a couple meanings. Number one, I am seeing the doctor. I am seeing the doctor. This means to meet the doctor. This is dynamic. Another meaning of see, sometimes in English, is date, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend. I am seeing her. That means I am dating her. This is a dynamic meaning. Next one's smell and taste, okay? Smell and taste. So if you're talking about your feeling about the smell or your feeling about the taste, this is a state. Example, the coffee tastes good. Or the coffee smells good, right? But there's a dynamic meaning too, right? If I have a glass of wine and I do this, I am smelling the wine, right? Or if I do this, I am tasting the wine. This is a dynamic meaning. Think. Now, think, sometimes we say think to talk about your opinion. And if you say, I think, example, he thinks the test is easy. He thinks the test is easy. You can't see this action, so it's a state. But another meaning of think is to use your brain and focus on something for a little bit long time. This is dynamic, right? She is thinking about the question. Now, I know it's strange, but maybe you can see this. So what am I doing? You can see that I am thinking. This is a dynamic verb. The last verb is feel. Now, feel is special because if you're talking about your feeling, I don't know why, but we can use the simple or the continuous. It doesn't matter. I don't feel well today. Same thing. I am not feeling well today. Okay, so I feel sick. Same thing. I am feeling sick. So it's special. You can say the simple or the continuous. But a dynamic only meaning is to touch something, okay? To understand the feel of something. So example, you know when you go shopping and sometimes people, like my wife, she always feels the fruit before she buys it, right? So if you go to the store and you look at the woman and she is feeling the apples, she is feeling. So this is a dynamic meaning. So some verbs in English have a state meaning and they also sometimes have a dynamic meaning. So this is very important. Remember, state verbs, we just use simple tenses, but dynamic verbs, we can use any kind of tense.
All right. So I think that was quite clear from all perspectives. Tell me if it is now clearer with everyone. Yes. Let me see how many of you do understand or did understand what he explained. So yeah. So how did it go? Let me know. Let me know in the chat box very quickly. Yeah. Is that very clear for everyone? Because I don't see any replies in the chat box. I'm asking, did you understand? Hmm. Okay, there goes Ritik. Leela is quiet today. I don't know why. Maybe some reason. Oh, okay. There goes Leela. All right. So that is the idea. So yes, he also explained the special word feel and sorry, and he said that feel is one such word that is actually used to talk about feelings, the way you feel it. And it's special because you can use both the ways, right? So you can even say I am feeling sick, or you can even say i I feel sick. So that's all right when you try to say it in that context. So I think this is very clear from the verbs point of view. Now let's try to have a practice, session for verbs, and let's try to understand how to now use verbs actually. I mean, lively. And what I'm going to do is, let me think whether to send you the link on the WhatsApp, or let me send you here. Um, just give me a minute. Okay, so I think let's not have that practice session as of now. Let's just continue our discussion in the flow of whatever is next. So the next item for our discussion today is going to be tenses. So a very quick question to everyone: how many tenses are there? Let's see. Let's look at your replies. How many tenses are there in the system? And I am only talking about the main tenses. I'm not talking about all 12 or 13 or 48, or some people would say 146. No, I'm talking about the main system. In the main system. So yes, most of you agrees with 3. Okay. Let's hear it out loud. How many? I mean, which are these 3? Tenses. What do you think? Can you name these 3 tenses very quickly, and then we're going to end the session today, because I don't want to, continue this discussion for today. There are a lot of surprises. All right, so Ajay, Abhishek, Sneha, Vivek, and Ritik, and Ayushi, and Kuldeep, and Harmish. Okay, Bautik again, Leela, and all of you. Most of you agree to one thing, and that's present. Uh, I mean, present is right in the middle here in my picture, in my slide, and then there is past, and then there is future. And this is what we think. This is what we believe rather than, think. And that's our one of the strongest beliefs. Let me now put down the element of surprise and end the session for today. It is not because you don't know about English, or I don't mean to put this down in that meaning, so don't carry any perception. But it is only because many teachers in our school days, or even many teachers recently, fail to make us understand how this tense system work. And that's why we have specific structures that we use for all these 3 timelines. And just to bring you out of your specific structure and your comfort zone, let me tell you this very clearly and precisely, and that is, in the system of grammar of English language, there are in reality only two tenses. Now, how, why, is it possible? Is it not possible? All this we will discuss in the next session. So let me keep you in, the surprise, or let's the surprise element live for a longer time, for a week at least. And I will get back to you in a week, if that is all right. I know that's not all right, because you should never be left in surprise. But I want to do this at least for, this session and maybe many more to come, So let me now share with you the Google link for attendance. You have 5 minutes to, do it. And once you enter your enrollment number and name, come back to Meet and tell me on the chat box that you have entered, or it is done. So here is the link. I'm now going to stop sharing the screen with you. Tell me if you can enter your name and enrollment number in the Google form. And once you do that, let me know that you've done it. Okay, Devashish is done. Stay here, Devashish, for some time. Let everyone, finish entering their numbers there. Okay, I can see that. Okay, if you have entered your enrollment number and your name, you can leave the Meet now. It's the end of the session for today. And thank you so much for being with me. I hope the session was good. I always enjoy, the company of my students, so it's always good for me. All right. Okay, Abhishek, I can see that's done. Okay, you can start leaving the group if you have entered your enrollment number in the Google Form sheet. I can see 13 of you right there. 11. Yes, Harmish, what are you trying to say? Portal Ma, what are you trying to say? Oh, okay, Harmish, yes. It will show, Harmish, don't worry. They will take some time to update it. There's no problem. There's no problem as such. It will show. All right. Maybe it will show it. I'll talk to